Welcome to the Football Critters Podcast. I am your host, the Bear, and my co-host.
The Otter.
Today we're going to talk about safeties.
I don't feel safe.
There's some safe picks in here, I would say. Not many, but there's a few.
Oh, there's a lot of great role players in this. There's a lot of great box safeties
There's
I
a lot
saw
of
in here.
projects that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
That we're not even going to talk about today. That's the most wild part. But yeah, I would definitely say the box safety is there's a lot of them this year, which last year we didn't really see that.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if, there's going to be a lot of contributors next year in this rookie class that probably is going to get picked in day 3. That's going to be like a really good strong safety for some team that probably comes in.
And with the resurgence in the run game in the NFL over the past 2 seasons, there couldn't be a better time for this.
Oh yeah. Now, does that mean they're going up higher? No, but
Probably
we
not,
have a lot of high end potential though that could work out.
We also, if you reach out to our other podcasts, we talked about free agency as well on some of our other podcasts. We go team by team, and we said in a lot of those teams that safety was a big need.
Yeah, that's because like the market depreciated too, so no one wants to pay that top dollar for a vet when they can, especially in this draft, they can get someone for cheap that can fill these roles in the NFL these days.
But I think as far as like depth at safety, I felt like there was many teams that could definitely use one of these guys coming into this year. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about this. You want to start out at your number 10?
Sure, I would love to. My first person the first person that popped off, but I like Malik Mustafa from Wake Forest.
So you're going to be shocked.
He's not on your list, is he?
He didn't make my list.
I completely get it. I just really liked...
And I love him. I do. I really like the player, but I had to put my bias aside with him, but I do like him a lot.
It was like I'm kind of picking the guy who I think is going to be more of a box safety in the NFL, and I think he's probably right out of the box. Him or maybe another player that could contribute right away. And his tape has been fun to watch.
That pun you just made was absolutely gross.
Oh, I don't even know what I said.
You need to go take a shower. That was
yeah, it just comes naturally to me.
Come on, people.
Out of the box, safety box. Regardless, I don't know. I love this guy. I like how he fires downhill towards the ball carrier. He's a super physical player.
Oh, absolutely.
He don't take no shit.
And he's got really good eyes on the QB too. I definitely felt that against equal stated teams in college, he seemed to do really well.
Yeah.
Against higher tier competition, he did fall a little bit, but yeah, his tackling is good. His physicality is awesome. He always seems to be around the ball, no matter what's going on. And I love seeing that from a safety.
Yeah, he's got absolutely no hesitation to his game.
None.
Which, is a really great thing. I mean, it could also put you in bad situations because he's a very over-aggressive player sometimes that even when he always likes coming downhill the most. So he'll fall for some pump fakes and double moves a lot if he's ever stuck that way in coverage. And even like when you said, when he's playing higher quality teams, like those really show his limitations athletically. One, he's not a big guy, and two, I think he's pretty stiff. He doesn't change direction very quickly, so he can.
No, he doesn't. He's 5'10", right?
Yeah, 5'10", 5'11".
Yeah, I thought he was 5'10", something like that.
But he's beefy though. He's like 215 or something like that, isn't he? Yeah.
Oh, and he can hit. I mean, this guy punishes people, but
it's
at the same time, his coverage skills were bad. He definitely needs to work on his coverage. Like I said, I love this guy, honestly. I mean, I'm a big fan of him. When we were watching Kalen Carson during our corner evaluations, this guy like jumped off the map for me, and I was like, wow, I cannot wait to watch you. I was really excited to watch him. And I do think he's a good player, but I think that his coverage skills need to improve.
Yeah. No,
he was definitely a liability at times.
Yeah, he's going to have to be limited in those roles. Like the only thing I would say is maybe if you're putting him against maybe a smaller tight end or somebody he can out physical at the line, he's good. If it's a shiftier guy, he's probably going to get beat though.
But even if he's in the slot as a blitzer, I mean, I like him for that.
Oh yeah, You can tell the team he was on fed off his energy, though.
Oh, absolutely.
They loved, like, they rallied around him. Like, it was always a treat to watch because then it's like the next 2 plays, everyone else is playing harder too when he makes a big hit. He's a smart player too, so when he does read the quarterback really well and can make jumps on the ball with his, especially if it's like a shorter route and he can come downhill and get it.
Where do you see Malik getting drafted?
Like what round?
What round? Yeah, like I see him, and I hate saying this, but like probably like a 5th, 6th round guy.
I am as a 4th to 5th, but I totally get it.
I see him as a project. He's probably more of a 5th. The more I think about it, but I really like Malik Mustafa. Yeah, I don't want to emphasize. I don't want you to think I don't like him, but I really do.
Yeah,
I just think he is not going to play a starting role this year.
No, I don't think so either. He'd be more of a spot starter if anything. He'd probably make maybe a good backup this first year or two.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of guys in this draft that are kind of his ilk, and I hit out of all of them, if I had to choose a favorite, he was my favorite one to watch. So he's being thrown on there for me.
I mean, just looking at the list right now, there's got to be 3 other names I look at this list that are projects like him. That, I mean, he's better than all the rest of these projects, but there's like 4 guys I can look at here, and I'm like, you're projects that I'd love to pick up.
Yeah.
In the 5th, 6th round that I think could, but cannot today.
Yeah.
Cannot start.
Totally understandable. I mean, the crazy part is like a lot of these guys is all for me have bumped into like the 4th to 6th round range. So.
Oh yeah.
So
we might see a run.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
So.
Give me your 10, bud.
My number 10 is Kalen Bullock.
Kalen Bullock. Nice. I'm surprised he's not your style at all. No, so that's why I'm surprised you picked him up.
But his athleticism cannot be ignored.
No.
He is a freak when it comes to speed. This guy just bullets across the field. And man, he has stopped some plays for a absolute garbage defense. Watching USC's defense, it almost hurts your eyes. But this guy is definitely the main piece on that defense.
Absolutely. I mean, he's got great range and speed to cover deep as a free safety. And hell, I mean, even can do single high. I don't think he has the range to be like sideline to sideline, but
no, but he does have the speed to catch up to breakout running backs.
Absolutely.
I definitely saw him do it. I do think his physicality is a little awful.
I think you're overstating it. He's terrible, I think, in his physicality.
Trying to be nice.
I know, but it's just like I hate watching him play the run, and
I do too.
It really
they had
sucks.
him in strong this year, and he's not a strong safety. He is a free.
Yeah, he had 38% of his snaps at free this year, with 32 in the box. Previously, most of his career, he's playing 51 in free.
I see him as a free.
He's free, yeah, 100%.
I don't see him as a slot. I don't see him as a box. I see him as a free safety.
I think it was out of necessity though, because their defense was so bad.
They were just
garbage. They were probably beat. Like USC was always playing catch up, and they had to stop the run. And the only way you're doing that is bringing people back up from up top. And I don't know if the other 2 safeties that they had were that good either. So it's not like.
I mean, it was almost like watching the greased up deaf guy run against them. Like they just
slipped all
the run game was pretty pathetic if it wasn't for him.
Yeah, they made a lot of,
because I don't think he's a very good tackler. I don't think his tackling is good. I don't like his physicality, but he can pick them up.
No, and he's got. I mean, his height and length too is like probably like you're getting this guy strictly for coverage right now.
I think he's 6'3", 6'3", 190. He's got great. Is that right? You got that there?
Yep. 6'3".
Wow, I was right on the dot. Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, he's got that length and arm, and his arm length is great too. That he can reach and really limit passing windows, which I thought was good. So like you're going to be basically using him mostly as a coverage safety.
Like, I do think his coverage game definitely needs some work.
Oh, for sure. He's still a project.
I think he's a solid free safety in a draft that isn't crazy high on free safeties.
No, not at all.
But we also saw the opposite last year. It was mostly frees last year and not many strongs. Now this year it's plenty strongs and less frees.
For sure. I mean, for his first couple years, I think he's going to be very boomer bust. Like he's going to make some crazy splash plays, and then you're going to be like tearing your hair out of what the fuck he's doing sometimes. Not usually, less so in coverage, but if somehow the ball carrier is getting to his level, look out for now. He just does not have those kinds of instincts.
Like I've seen like mock drafts where he's like a second round pick. I'm sorry, I do not see him as a second round pick. I think of him as a fourth, late third.
I have him as a fourth round pick.
Like I keep seeing him, dude, in the second round, and I'm like, I don't think the talent is there. And in fact, to be honest with you, there's not many people in this class that I think are second round picks at safety.
I agree. He was actually number 8 on my board though, which is
yeah. I figured you liked him a little more than I did, but
yeah,
you know,
I'm the sucker for free safeties. All right, let's go.
He's a big fan of Earl Thomas.
Almost
more than one way.
Almost as much of a fan as his brother.
Oh no, that was good. I didn't think you were gonna go there. I thought I was gonna have to do it.
Nope, I got you, fam. All right. How about you give me your 9? Let's go right to you. Let's go back. I'm gonna double dip you. I think it's
somebody that you don't have, and that's fine. But
probably
Keaton Oladapo out of Oregon State.
Yeah.
Oh man, dude, he was captain of defense. You know, his last 3 years, his stats over the last 3 years are crazy consistent. Did you see that? Like, I mean, it is like he's the most consistent safety over the past 3 seasons. Like, I think I saw in this whole draft, like just solid numbers all 3 years. I mean, he's pretty decent in coverage. I think he's one of the best I've watched at stripping the ball. He's pretty good at stripping the ball.
His punch is fun as shit to watch.
It really is.
It just like he just pops it every time. Like think of Shaquille Leonard when he was at his prime. Like he had a knack for punching the ball out as a linebacker for the Colts.
I mean, there was a play where this guy was running downfield. I think he was like, I don't know, like a 40-yard bomb downfield. This guy's going. And he runs this guy down and punches the ball out at like the 5-yard line. And I'm just like, the fact that he's like, oh, I'm going to punch this ball out, not, oh, I'm going to tackle you. Like he took the extra effort, you know, to make a play. And man, that is an awesome thing to see.
Yeah, you can't say he doesn't have effort because he puts every ounce of effort into this game. Like he's absolutely relentless as he pursues because he knows if he can get there, there's a chance he can make a big thing happen.
And he is fast vertically. His change of direction was kind of so-so.
It was pretty poor, I would say.
You know, I mean, I hope that's something he can work on. I thought his football IQ was pretty good. I wouldn't say it was elite, but it was good. He definitely seems to have a good eye most of the time.
He's more, I would say he gears more towards as an effort player where he's like, as long as I'm always trying my best, I'll get there and make some plays.
And, you know, the weird thing with him is I kind of see him as a hybrid. I don't see him as a free or strong.
Oh, yeah.
He kind of does a little of both.
Well, he's got tons of versatility. He's played all over that defense for all those years.
You know,
what did he have? He had 32% of his career snaps were in the box, 27 in the slot, and 33 at free. And he even has some outside corner experience this past year. So it's not like he can pretty much align anywhere. I mean, obviously I wouldn't put him in outside corner, but you put him at any level of the defense as a hybrid player and just getting him on the field to make some effort plays happen. Like you can't go wrong.
So I see him as a 4th round pick. I'm a big fan of Keaton, but I know maybe others aren't, but I really see him as a solid 4th round pick.
It's funny because I think I thought I was high on him, and I have him as a 5th. But I've seen like a lot of like big boards out there that have him like as a 3rd round pick, as a 2nd round pick. Like a lot of people like him.
Wow.
Like now, obviously, most of them were like 3rd, 4th, like kind of where you're saying.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Just because of some of the talent that we have that's kind of rare.
Yeah, I just don't think he's uber athletic, and I don't know if he'll find time to get on the field as much. But I'm not saying he's not athletic. I'm just saying not like uber athletic. That like compared to all the other box like versatile safeties out there, he has less to his athleticism than others.
But yeah, I do agree with you with most of that. I do think his speed is really good, and
Yeah,
I think he's a pretty strong guy.
I think he's got NFL speed. I think he's got
Absolutely.
okay. I think he has enough speed. He's got more strength than like obviously Kevin Bullock and other like some other players on this
Oh yeah,
list.
and
But
he hits hard.
no, like I said, he's like an effort grinder kind of player, and he knows he's just going to make a play. And one other thing is like I can tell he's a little uncomfortable playing zone coverages.
Oh yes, I agree.
So, and I think a lot of the league, actually, I can't really tell. I think they're switching to more mans now, but just because of how the league has been like zone heavy these last couple of years, I think they're
Well,
switching
I
to
think
man.
that's what's brought on the run game
Yeah.
the way it has. Like I said, I'm not really worried about him. I definitely think he's going to do well.
Oh yeah, I'd be stoked to have him on the team.
I would too.
So I mean, I love that you put him up there. He wasn't on my list, obviously,
And
but I love that you put him up there.
I get it. Trust me, because it's just like there's such a gray area around 10. It's just like, well, what? Like, pick your poisons.
Yeah, there's so many different flavors at that point. Like they're not all pure projects, but like they have a lot of great experience.
There's a lot of up and downside to all of these,
right?
I feel like.
But I feel like you can probably say that a lot for a lot of these. You can say that for a lot of these guys, and it be true. Just some more than others.
All right. Well, so who's your number 9?
I'm gonna throw you Cole Bishop from Utah.
Ooh.
At number 9.
Ouch.
You don't like that? You don't like that at all?
I'm surprised.
Yeah. Let me.
So on my board, I have him at number 5 on my board.
Oh,
yeah, really? I like him a lot more than you do.
Wow, I thought I was gonna like him more than you.
And I
surprise.
liked him less than I thought.
Wow. And here I'm coming into this like, oh man, you're gonna give me shit for putting him even on the list.
No,
I thought you were gonna do that.
Him.
Okay, good.
I think I already know what your issue is with him.
The biggest thing for me, he comes off very undisciplined.
Agreed.
He leaves like zones pretty consistently thinking he can make a play elsewhere.
He does. He's always trying to make a play. And he also, from time to time, just makes weird angles on tackles.
Yeah, he does.
And that it's a shame because like his athletic ability, I think, is top tier.
Oh, his potential in this is like just as good as anybody.
Speed, strength. I think his tackling technique is pretty impressive.
Yeah, if he gets to the tackle for sure.
I also think he's pretty inconsistent.
Yes. He does have shorter arms, which makes him struggle to wrap up and get around blocks.
Shorter than Kenny Pickett's arms?
I don't know how long his arms
I'll
are.
have to check that out.
What I do like about him, like you said, I mean, he's got great size and length. Like he's pretty much the exact safety you want for the position.
Yeah, like in Madden, like this is your guy.
Exactly.
He's perfect.
He's bursty. He can put himself in position really quick, especially when he breaks on the ball. Yeah, he did. I think he played 25% of his career snaps were in the slot, but he played less of it this year.
What because
yeah, is 42% this year in free, which I found surprising because I found a lot of his this year specifically. He's played pretty deep a lot of the time. It might be.
It's gotta be.
Yeah, because Vaki's better closer to line too.
We're gonna talk about another safety later. There's actually 2 safeties.
Don't show your hand.
Oh come on, this isn't showing your hand.
Yeah, because I think that probably has to be the reason because he's more experienced than Vaki is, so he had to be probably the umbrella to that defense. And I will say he did look uncomfortable the deeper he went.
Absolutely.
I prefer him way close to the line.
Yeah, I saw him as a box.
Absolutely.
I think he's a box. I didn't hate him in the slot, but I also feel like he's got this hesitation.
He does.
That really cripples him at times, which could be coached out. We don't know. Utah isn't exactly the best program at this point, but like I think these are probably there's a guard we'll be talking about in another in another one of our podcasts. But other than that, I think there's only 3 guys from Utah this year in the draft. And when I watched them on watched this team in quite a few games this year, they just look sloppy all around.
Yeah.
And I really like Cole Bishop. I mean, his size was really good. I think that most of the time he's really good at reading the QB. I think his
so
eyes
too.
on the play, understanding what's going on in front of him. He looks like a guy who watches a ton of tape.
Like I would say, even on run plays, like he kind of understands gap discipline and stuff. Like he'll burst through gaps and.
But sometimes he
like,
jumps in too quick.
Yeah,
and then he can't get off alignment if he touches.
Oh, absolutely not. But
so I mean, which most of these guys don't.
Yeah, I'm not gonna expect that of him. It would just be cool if he did. You know?
But I'm not gonna give him credit.
Right. Yeah. No, he's a great guy to have down towards obviously the box and close to the line.
It's so weird because there's times I watch him and his tackling impresses me. And then there's other times where his physicality just like seems to go down the drain. Like and that's where the inconsistency with him kind of shocks me.
That's kind of why he dropped for me to that point.
It's just the raw athlete for me was hardly.
Yeah. That's why I was like, I have a lot of raw athletes on this list. And I think as a safety, he meets so much criteria that I had to put him on. Because I actually initially had him outside my top 10. But he bumped up pretty quick though, the more I watched. Like if I watched his 22 tape is kind of where I saw more of his game and where he can actually shine. So
once again, I do think their defense was weird.
Yeah.
Like it was two guys on that defense, and then everybody else was just a guy.
Rough.
Time to try out.
All right. That was my 9. Okay. How about you give me your 8? Because Kalen Bullock was my 8.
All right. Well, my 8 was Dadrion Taylor Demerson.
Ooh.
Which I gotta be honest, hurts the.
Ooh, that hurts.
Let me guess. 3rd.
Yes, he's 3rd on my list. I love Dadrion.
I knew you would love this guy.
He's so good.
And I actually like him a lot too, but his size bothers me. He's undersized, but he is a really smart player. He's really great in coverage. He's got great burst and speed, and he hits hard for his size.
Oh yeah.
The problem is sometimes he plays against some big guys and they bully the crap out of him.
Well, he's not that. Yeah,
you don't want to put this guy on a tight end. I think.
The sad part, like, I don't think he has a lot of versatility to his game.
I don't think so either. I think he's a free all day.
Exactly. And I don't want him really coming up, but which is weird because even though he doesn't have physicality, I think his technique as a tackler is actually really good for a free safety.
I feel like if he put on like 10 more pounds,
which, that's not better. That's not crazy to do as an NFL player. Like, you want this guy for his ball skills, like, and his field vision. Like, he reads the field all day, every day. My favorite part is like the mind games he plays with QBs.
Absolutely.
he thinks he's tricking them going one way, kind of like especially with more inexperienced QBs. Who's the safety on the Falcons? He does stuff like this too.
Jesse Bates.
Yeah, Jesse Bates was doing that to Bryce Young a couple of times this last year, where he would bait him out and throw some interceptions, and he does similar things. He already has those like moves to his game where it's not going to work against vets, but if you're not playing vets all the time at QB, you're always going to have rookies coming in, and I think he'll be really good at tricking QBs into that role, into making bad decisions.
He also only had a 10% missed tackle rate, which was, I think, one of the best. Yeah, I think it was like top 3 or 4 in the entire class. I mean,
yeah, it's just not every day you can have a free safety that's able to make an open field tackle.
Yeah,
especially with how if you looked at him and you watched his game and didn't watch him tackle, he doesn't seem physical. So it's like, I would assume him to be a terrible run defender, but
he's not though. He's really not. And he, like I said, he's a smart guy. His burst speed. Like when I think of him, the first thing I think about is that burst.
Yes.
He just knows the hole he wants to go for, and he just shoots for it. Like he's good at getting through gaps.
Yeah,
I've noticed as well.
Even his burst down towards the ball, because he's like you said, he's smart. He definitely does his homework, because his route anticipation usually puts himself in good positions than not. Now, sometimes that bites him in the ass because other people watch tape too, and they know what kind of routes you're looking for to jump.
But he definitely gave some nightmares to some of these quarterbacks.
Oh yeah,
He definitely, man.
He made them look terrible. Why are you throwing that? It's like, no, it's not really a bad. I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to look him off, and he pretended he got looked off and then ran towards the spot you were gonna go.
And like I said, with his agility, he was able to catch up on mistakes he'd make too. It's kind of one of the other reasons I kind of knocked him, because he definitely used his speed as his pickup when he did make mistakes. I don't think it's going to help him as much in the NFL. But this guy's a great prospect. And actually, I probably have him as a draft pick. I probably have him as a 3rd round pick.
I do. That's exactly where I have him.
I think he's a 3rd round pick all day. I'd be happy if he was a Steeler, to be honest.
Well, it's funny, like him down, so there's 3, 4, 5, and 6 are kind of all in that same little spot in the 3rd round, and
3 to 8 for me are all 3rd round picks.
Right. So I'm like, all right, so he's my favorite out of all of them. So he got some better scores in other places, and his experience also put him ahead above the others because he played a lot of years. That's the other side of it. He played 4 or 5 years. Didn't he play a lot? That's the other downside of it. But I mean, you don't get that smart without the experience. So
no, absolutely not. All right, who's your number 8?
So it was Kalen Bullock. So I'll do my 7. Tyke Smith, the slot corner.
Yeah, we were talking about this guy before.
Slight debates.
So we're just gonna call it slight debates.
I think you just.
He's actually my number 13 rank.
Aww.
And I know that Georgia loves this guy, so maybe they know a lot more than I do.
He plays a specific role.
Yeah, and the weird thing with Georgia is they had 2 guys like this. And I think the reason that I couldn't give him as good of a grade is because I thought the other one was better. And we'll be talking about him. This guy's specifically in the slot.
Yeah.
There's no.
Now he's a big slot.
He's a big slot. And he hits hard.
And there's not a lot of big slots like that in the NFL. And so that covered without being a linebacker convert or a safety turned linebacker. He's kind of in that in between of a linebacker safety convert. But he's super athletic to keep up with a lot of the guys in the slot.
Oh yeah, he's fast. And he's got a really good wrap tackle.
He does. He's an excellent tackler.
Tackle, in fact, is probably the best of this group.
1,000%.
I really, really liked his wrap tackle.
And he's plays with great play strength too. You're not getting away from him a lot of the time. I think he can push tight ends around a little bit. He not push him around. He just doesn't take it as much as other players will.
So let me talk about why he didn't make my top 10. He missed a lot, and I mean a lot of easy tackles. I don't understand it. There was guys who just walked past him at times. I think it was the Alabama game where I saw that happen quite a bit. And actually, I think Tennessee was the other one. The running back from Tennessee ran past him quite a few times.
Yeah.
And actually, the sad thing is I saw that same issue with Bullard at times.
No, I mean, his speed gets him out of position sometimes. And
it does. Both those guys, I mean, they seem to have decent football IQ.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of had higher expectations being Georgia defensive players. I mean, Tyke Smith, I think, is probably about a 4th round pick for me, 4th, 5th.
That's where I have him.
But what else did you like about him?
Well, I just really liked it. Just as a man slot corner, he's very sticky, and the only times I really see him struggle to stay, because I don't think his top speed is that good.
No,
his burst is good, but if someone's doing a crosser and he didn't get his hands on him, if he stood too far off or the guy just made a move, it's highly unlikely he's catching up, especially to NFL level receivers. I've seen, I think Burton beat him in the slot a couple times doing crossers, yes. And you can tell Burton's got that extra year that he does not have. But I mean, he gave Burton some licks too when on the outside. But
he's a tough guy. I mean,
yeah,
he's gonna punish you. There's no question. I mean, this is another one of those guys, kind of like Malik, where he's gonna punish you if he has a chance. He's a dog.
Yeah, he's one of those shorter, thicker guys too. He's just not going to get pushed around a lot. I mean, I think his height might be an issue. I'm not too sure. it's just a note I have. I think in zone coverage, he leaves a lot to be desired. And
Yeah.
I think that's probably why you might see runners go past him, because he doesn't really know where to use his eyes. Because I think he's very attuned to watching the person in front of him.
And well, the
But
issue is in that Georgia system. Like I said, I had kind of have higher expectations of you because that defense is just so historically very good. And I think that players in the past had a lot better football IQ coming out of Georgia than I saw out of him.
that's
That's
fair.
why he didn't make my list. I still think he's a good player. I still see him as a solid 4th round pick.
I think in a system that's man heavy, I think he can be like an instant starter in the slot. But if you're trying to do anything more complex than that, then I think you're going to have to let him wait a little while. That's kind of why I had him a little higher. But I will say, if you are going to run screens on him, you better be putting your best blocker receiver on him, because I've seen a lot of times where he's bowling dudes over that
Yeah.
aren't ready.
Yeah.
Especially if you're doing like three, like a bunch formation or something. Like you're the biggest guy better be blocking him. So
Yeah, because he does slip through.
that's really all I have to say about him. I think he gives instant, like, day one contribution with his man slot capabilities.
I
That's
just
it.
think my last point on him is, like when I was trying to figure out where I wanted to put him on my list, I thought to myself, if you didn't play for Georgia's defense, would we be talking about you? And I had a hard time coming to a conclusion on that. Georgia usually has one of the best defenses in college football every year. And I just, with some of the guys around him, I just worry what he would have been like.
Like, he's more of a product of his environment and not of a.
Yeah, I do kind of feel like he was.
I can understand that.
And it's not that I don't think he's a good player. I just worry about what the next level is going to be for him.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I can say that about a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
so hard
absolutely.
to say for a bunch. But how about you? How about you give me your 7 now?
Oh, here we go. I got to be honest. This guy, I don't even know if he's going to be a safety when it comes into the league. And I don't think I've ever seen a player like him. This is definitely a unique one here, and it's Sion Vaki,
Oh yeah,
the other safety from Utah.
nice.
I was really confused when I started watching his games because this guy only played 2 years. He actually went away on some religious retreat for a little bit, so he's a little older. But when he came back, he not only was playing in the slot and a little bit of box, he also was their running back and did slot wide receiver, and he kills it in everything.
Yeah, he's just one of those guys you just want on the field.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
like, I
no
don't even
matter
know
what
where I
he's
want
doing.
you. He runs like Jalen Warren. Like, he just runs angry. He's very physical,
And he's
no
so
matter where he is.
fast.
And like, even when he doesn't make a play, I've seen him like miss a catch at the slot, playing slot wide receiver. When he doesn't make the catch, the corner in front of him, he just flipped him. Like, totally puts his shoulder down into the shin, flips the guy over. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, what
Yeah.
was that? He just wants to be physical all the time. And I didn't even take it as dirty. I just take it as he's just a football player.
Yeah. I mean, he's just making his point, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
he sets a tone. And I mean, I honestly think I like him more as a running back.
yeah.
What he did in the box was really good a lot of the time. The only issue is he played 2 seasons. I think he should have stayed another year. If he really wants to be a safety.
That's the hard part, because like you're only getting older, so it's like,
Yeah.
when you have to play that balancing act of, should I stay another year and be coming in the NFL at what, 25, 24?
But he's a freak athletic.
He is. He's an
Absolute
like, his
freak.
athleticism absolutely jumps off screen. Like, it's oozing out of the screen.
Like, I think we could probably agree that he's probably the number 1 or 2 as far as athleticism on this board.
Oh, for sure.
And just because of that, I had to put him at.
Well, he's
at
probably
7.
like 3, because I can think of a guy in the back that is very athletic but can.
Oh, I don't think he's that athletic.
I think he's pretty athletic.
I know who you're talking about. Owens.
No, I'm not talking about him. Well, maybe I'll talk about him in the extra stuff. I don't know. We'll see. But
a guy who I so badly wanted to put on my list and I couldn't. Yes,
possibly.
yes, I love him too. We will talk about him then.
Okay.
All right, but to end on Vacky here, the little I saw him in man coverage, he was a liability. Even in zone, man.
Yeah,
he was a serious liability.
He just kind of, his experience really shows as well. That's the problem.
Agreed.
So, like, if you're going to put him as a safety, look, I don't think he played bad as a safety. I mean, I have him as my number 6, just one for his athleticism, and 2, he didn't look particularly bad. He just, like, his up and downs were just all over the place. Like, his ups were insane, but his downs were like, oh, come on, dude, what are you doing?
Do you want to know why?
But he's very undisciplined in some of these plays and can also get stuck on blocks too much because he's too focused on that.
You want to know something wild?
Sure.
About him that I was surprised?
Hit me.
He didn't get a single penalty all year.
Oh, really?
How? So, yeah, I mean, he had 0 penalties all season. I was shocked by that, knowing how physical he is, but he doesn't play dirty. And I think that really proves my point with that. But there's also another stat that we really need to talk about that is concerning. The recorded catch rate on him is 6.9% or 69%.
They can what catch on him?
His percentage.
Oh, like catches allowed?
Yeah.
No.
Was 69%. That's the highest. That is the highest on this list. And wow, that's not good.
Yeah. Like, this is the kind of thing, like, if his experience at safety is that much of a concern, just keep him in running back. Just leave him in running back. He would be instantly great there.
He runs like Jalen Warren, but can catch like Kenneth Gainwell. Yeah. It's pretty impressive.
You could draft this guy earlier. Like, as a running back, he would probably go around the same spot anyway. You just want him as a player on your team because he's a smart player. He learns quick. Like, he gets the positions, him knowing offense and defense. Like, he knows how each side of the ball is going to function. It's just ironing out those wrinkles, and he's going to need it. But
and look, I know we're saying that we don't think this guy might be a safety, but I couldn't leave him off my board with that athleticism.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He hits hard. He misses tackles at times because he's inexperienced. I believe with time that could be ironed out, and I do think he could be a safety.
Yes,
I think he's got a year or two to sit and unlearn NFL systems and work on his techniques because it's so obvious how raw he is.
Yeah.
But man, the athleticism is just off the charts. I mean, you hit that right on the nail, man.
But all right, how about I'll do my 7?
Yeah, let's do it.
Actually, I think that was my 7 was Tyke Smith. Sion Vaki was my 6.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh no way. So I didn't think he was your list.
Nah, he's too cool. Too cool to watch.
He was fun.
I mean, a lot of these guys are developmental, but I think you want this guy anyway, no matter what, on your team. So I had to just put him up there.
I don't even need a running back. I want him. He could be my athlete.
But who do you have at 6 then?
My number 6? I hope this guy made your list.
We'll find out.
It's Bo Braid from Maryland.
No, he didn't make my list.
He didn't make your list?
No.
Oh.
He's close, though.
Oh, man. Really?
I got to see what I said about him.
Oh, man. Dude, his run-stopping ability was fantastic. I mean, he's a hard hitter. He's got good eyes on the QB. And if he gets his hands on you, forget it. You're not getting off of him. Like, he would lock on guys. It was pretty obvious. I did think his weakness was coverage again.
Yep.
It's another guy that in zone coverage I thought got lost at times.
Yep.
And I think in man coverage he's a liability.
Ding, ding, ding. And that's why I couldn't put him on my list.
But as a run stopper, I think he might be my number 2 or 3.
The thing that bothered with me as his run stopper is that he acts like a thumper, but his tackling is probably one of the worst techniques I've seen. Like, he'll hit someone and then he like slips off of him like a wet blanket sometimes. Like he's like hits high, hits in the middle, slides down their legs, and then people get away. Like I don't understand what that is. I've seen a couple of tapes like that where it's. I think he gets in position well, and if he tackles properly, he does a good job. But he has an 18% missed tackle rate.
Yeah, he does have an 18%.
And that doesn't have. If you're in the right position and you're letting shit go, you have a technique problem. Like despite all the size, like he can tackle pretty much any size ball carrier, and I think he does at least understand the game enough to have good recognition. Like he doesn't really fall for play action very much. Like he kind of goes where his assignment will lead him to. He doesn't react right away. Like it's not like he's hesitant. He's not
from his tackling ability. When you said issues with his tackling, I did notice that from behind, like if he has to run after you, his tackling was bad. But I thought if he's running downhill, he was pretty good.
Yeah, it was just maybe it's like on his. It's probably more towards like when they're heading to the sideline. Like he's any kind of like off angle, like he like slips off. I just don't understand what it is.
He's a little stiff, but man, he hits hard. He does. He's a tough dude.
Yeah, I mean this guy has the potential to destroy a play in seconds. Like that's how good he is.
I think his play recognition was pretty good on running.
Yeah.
Once again, his coverage was not very good. Kind of like Malik Mustafa in a lot of ways. I think Malik was better in coverage than him, but I think this guy was one of the better run stuffers.
Yeah, I just couldn't tolerate his technique. And if you're gonna be a tackling guy, like the potential's there. I love it. I just at least want you to not be a liability on passing downs. So it's like
it is with Maryland and doing this to me. They do this to me every year. Like his Nick Cross 2 years ago. Before that, it was what was that guy's name that he went to Green Bay? He actually just got.
Oh, so Darnell Savage.
Yeah, Darnell Savage was another one of these types where they can do some things in ways, and I love them for it. And it's like, but they all have a weakness.
I just couldn't put him up there compared to the other guys. I think
that's fine.
I think his floor was a little too low for me to, and his potential wasn't high enough to cover for that. At least not yet. At least for me.
I still see him as a 3rd round pick. I could see him slipping to the 4th, depending.
Yeah, I think I have him as
his ceiling's pretty high.
Yeah, I'm as a 4 to 5 round player, but it all depends on how he can do in coverage. Like if you're gonna put him deep, he needs to be in too high.
I don't think he's for every.
But I would not put him deep. Like he needs to be either a box safety in nickel packages, or at least for his first year. I mean, he shouldn't come out his first year either. I don't think. I think he needs time to develop.
I agree.
So I just couldn't do it.
That's fine. I could see him playing in blitz packages. He's
a great blitzer. Yeah, that's true.
I could totally see that and run stuffing downs, no question. But yeah, I agree about the coverage. The coverage is
the problem with the problem I have with that is a lot of the times I'll throw on first downs if they see a package that is conducive of that.
Well,
so and if he's on the field, and unless you have a really great team around him to cover for that deficiency on those early downs.
I also look at it this way. We see the league going a lot of nickel and trying to get the linebackers off the field more. And I feel like this guy is a good substitution for a linebacker in those type of situations. His coverage isn't great, but is he better than most linebackers? Yeah.
Yeah, I would just give him a couple years, like a year or two, to see if he develops into those roles.
I think he could be a definite solid piece on some.
And that's why he's in your top 10 and not mine.
Absolutely.
Just like Tyke Smith, the other way around. All right.
Who's your...
I'm going to do my 5.
5?
Yeah, because my 6 was Sion Vaki.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I'm going to do Cameron Kinchens as my 5. Where did you throw him at on your list? The undraftable range?
He is number 11 on my list.
You just barely missed it. Okay. Hey, that's pretty good. Better than I thought you'd give him.
His man coverage is what bugged me, and I could not get off of it. As physical as he looked in certain situations in games, what I saw at the Senior Bowl was awful.
Well, he does not have the physicality to play against bigger receivers and tight ends.
If they're smaller than him,
oh yeah,
he seems to do well.
Oh, he'll throw them
but
around.
The minute they're his size or bigger, he gets thrown around like a rag doll.
Yeah,
you don't want this guy on a tight end.
I just think his natural instincts and anticipation for the game is one of the highest ones up there in here. Like not the highest ones in this draft specifically, but like 3 or 4. Just his overall instincts and anticipation. Like he'll put himself in position well in because he's a zone guy. Zone free. You can put him close to the line. He can still work there too. He's versatile. He's basically, to me, how I see him, he's a master of nothing, but he's like a jack of all trades kind of guy.
So
like he's not great. He's not elite or great at like any one thing, but he can do a lot of things well. And you can put him all over the defense because I think he's just an overall really smart player.
He does have great eyes on the QB. I do agree with you there. And he is not afraid to throw his body.
No, absolutely not.
But the biggest reason he could not make my top 10 is he had the worst completion rate on him.
Oh, really?
Any player. And I'm going to blow you away with the number.
Was it like over 70?
82%.
Holy shit.
82%. I'm sorry. You cannot make my top 10 with 82% completion rate.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Bad.
That is really bad.
And he was inconsistent, it seemed like, in a lot of games. Like, and look, that defense was weird. And I can't make that an excuse for everybody here, but I'm still trying to understand it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, well, I don't really understand the scheme all that well. It's just not an NFL style scheme. It's a janky college scheme. And it's a shame kind of what Miami's become over the last few years.
Yeah, I just didn't really see him as being bad at anything other than maybe in the slot or even in man. And even then, I wouldn't say it was overly bad. It just, good. Yeah. The only reason that he showed out pretty bad in man sometimes is because he's not that athletic. His game is completely predicated on his brain.
His speed was pretty good. I definitely saw him get burnt though a few times.
Yeah, I mean, like his testing numbers for anything other than the 40, it was not that good.
Yeah, well, his vertical speed was definitely where.
Yeah,
I noticed. But yeah, man, the completion rate, how bad he looked against tight ends and man coverage, his physicality, I heard him talking at the Senior Bowl about, I can't wait till people turn on the tape and see my physicality for real. And I thought to myself, oh, yeah, okay, I'm not going to judge him. I'll let him go. And then I see the same thing in the tape, and I'm like, oh, okay. All right, I guess this is what he is.
Maybe this will be a guy I'll put on the rewatch list because I don't know. I just saw enough splash and enough mentality to his game, like the football IQ I thought was there to make, like, even if he's blitzing and he knows there's a body there, he's blocking passes. He's got tons of batted passes down. I think his instincts and stuff just really sold me because I saw him in a lot of positions that were good a lot of the time, specifically in zone. But maybe I'm overrating that a little bit. I don't know. I'll go back and watch him again.
Maybe see I'm if I'll go back and watch him and Bo Brady.
You just because you want to watch Bo Brady again.
I do, actually. I did enjoy watching him. Yeah, I mean, it was hard for me to... I actually gave him a really good...
What was his 2022 stuff? Because I know at the beginning of this year I have noted as him having a neck injury and head injury, and he missed 2 or 3 games.
I didn't know about that.
So he was hospitalized for that, and I think it was like the first or second game he got hurt. And I wonder if he was like hesitant to play as hard as his usual style. So I'm wondering if he played better in 2022. I didn't get to watch a lot of his 2022 tape, but that's just the other thing I can think of as a possible excuse to why he maybe played terrible this year, especially in coverage. Well, I didn't say he didn't play terrible. He didn't play like terrible. Just the 82% really throws me off.
The thing is so he had a few places where I ranked him bad, but I also ranked him really well as far as zone coverage and play recognition. I mean, those 2 things I thought he did very well with. I think his speed was pretty good too. He's a pretty big guy, I think, as well. He was also another guy who had zero
penalties.
Oh
yeah, he's 6'2", 205.
Yeah,
it's pretty
good size. All right, well, my number 4, I'm kind of guessing might be your number 4. That's Javon Bullard out of Georgia. Am I right?
Nope.
Oh, that's my next one.
Wrong one. He was 3.
No. Your 4 is my 3.
Ah, okay. Yeah, Javon Bullard.
He's a hard hitter, man.
He's actually my 1.
Your 1? What?
Dude, I loved watching his game, man.
I like him a lot too. I do.
He's
a killer, man. He hits hard.
He
breaks up passes like pretty much nobody else in this class. He's your number 1?
Oh yeah.
Wow, I'm very surprised.
He's got that dog mentality that I love. Good coverage ability in the slot. He's got the burst I love. Makes plays, football IQ with his route recognition, always jumping at the ball. Just like everything I liked with Cameron Kinchens, I thought it was very instinctive. He's not perfect. He's not going to be a first round pick for me. So he's my number 1, and for me, he's a second round pick.
Yeah, I think he's a second round pick as well.
So, and
I think I could see him as a late second.
Totally get it. Totally.
Is actually where 4 to 2 are for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, his eye for the ball is really good, and he makes good angles on tackles.
Yeah, I think, and he's more than willing to do it too. He's not afraid to tackle, unlike you'd see it for a lot of safeties like him. Well, not like him, because his mentality, he has that fire to want to make tackles. But
I wish I saw more tape on him in man coverage. I feel like I didn't get to see enough of it to make a fair grade. I definitely noted that. But his play recognition was pretty good. I think he's very versatile, but I do think he's just a slot. I see him as a slot guy.
Yes, I think he'll make I think he makes an immediate impact in the slot, especially if you're drafting him in the second. I can see him playing free. The if comes where I think he does have the range, and I think he has the IQ to play free. But there's a lot of times where he looked uncomfortable back there, and I think he needs more reps.
Don't like him back there, to be honest.
That's fine. I'm saying there's a lot to his tape that I did not like for his at free. But I think he does have the athleticism and the instincts to be good back there with more experience. That's the only reason I'm saying. I don't want him back there year 1 at all. If you're putting him on the field, you're putting him in the slot year 1.
His recorded rec percentage was 53.8%, which wasn't terrible, but it wasn't.
I think 50. Elite. I think 50 is your goal. Well, your goal is obviously as low as you can, but I think
lower than that, my eyes pop.
Yeah, 53 is it's good.
So
I think he usually gets beat a lot by a lot of bigger receivers as well.
Agreed, but I've also seen him plow over some big guys.
Oh yeah,
which is very impressive, and he also can get off blocks from time to time as well. Yeah, I mean, I like him a lot. I think there's a lot to like there. I don't have him as my number 1 guy though, because A, I only really see him as one position. B, he's a little undersized.
If he plays free, I'm fine with his size. And I can see, like I said, the reason I like him because I think he can go back there. I think he does have a little bit more versatility than what you think. Yeah, I just think he's got the perfect not perfect. I think he's got a great combination of, slot usability, IQ, with potential to be moved other places where needed. And I think you want smart players on your team, and I think he's got tons of football IQ.
I'll tell you this, watching his tape, Kamari Lassiter owes that guy a check because he saved his ass multiple times. Neither of us ranked Kamari Lassiter all that well, and a lot of boards have him pretty high. Not to get too much off subject, but I thought maybe I was just missing something, and I was like, I'll see it when I watch these two because I'm going to watch 2 of the safeties. I still didn't see it. It got worse.
Yeah.
I'm still scratching my head at him.
Hey, well, I wish I saw it because I can only see one thing at a time. got goddamn tunnel vision sometimes. But yeah, I don't know. I think he has got for me, he's just got the blends of all the things I want in a safety.
And he's
Other than
fun. I mean, for sure.
like if he was better in the free, if he was better at free and had more comfortability back there and didn't hesitate, and he was bigger, I think he would be a first for me. But it's not going to happen with where he's at right now. So, but he is my favorite safety in this class, and I'm.
What did you give him as your personal grade?
Like
your clam score?
9 out of 10.
I actually gave him an 8.9.
Well, okay, so we both liked him a lot.
I love him. I do. Yeah. Like, I don't want to hate because he's your number 1 and he's my number 4, but these 4 guys were pretty good.
Yeah.
And number 1, you know.
It's probably who I think it is. Chalk. Oh, sorry. Sorry. All right, we'll see.
It's not. All right, so let's talk about your number 4.
Mine was Jaden Hicks,
which was my number 3.
Okay.
This guy's my favorite.
Is he your favorite? Really?
So it's funny when I watched what's his name? Keaton Oladapo. I didn't like Hicks because I was like, oh wow, these two played each other. Oh, I'm definitely going to put that game on my list of games to watch because I want to see him as well. And I watched the game and he looked lost in coverage all the time. And I was like, what the heck is this? I'm like, this guy's ranked this high? And this is what he does? But man, the problem with that is everything else he does is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, his burst is one of my favorite. His athleticism is fantastic. I think he's a pretty good player in coverage, but I think he needs to work on it for sure.
Yeah, I think he has the potential to be a tight end eraser.
I agree.
Because he has the physicality and the size. Like he's
6'2", and I think he's only a sophomore.
The dude's built like a brick shithouse, man.
He's only a sophomore.
Is he really? So he's that young too.
He's super young. He's 6'2", and I think he's like
that's
215, 220.
That's very apparent based on the mental side of his game. He will make a lot of mistakes, especially understanding zone coverages, and I think gap discipline is something he struggles with sometimes. But like you said, his
get better.
His burst, like you said, like you putting him anywhere within the first 10 yards, whether you're going to be putting him on a tight end or you just want him in zone to be close for run defense or just to blow up some plays that are coming his way, like dude's a monster.
I would not be shocked if he was a second-round pick because of the potential I see. I think the floor is low. I think that the coverage, getting lost in coverage, which he's not getting lost in coverage all the time, but it was very apparent in a few games.
Yeah, it's like
other times he's like right on it.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't really say lost as in more as like inconsistent is the key thing. Because even being as young as he is, there are times where his tape is bad in coverage. But when we're comparing guys who have his size and on this list and his athleticism
and as young as
further down the list here, he's still not as bad as those people in coverage. Like he at least shows the flashes that you want to see, and you just want him to nail those down more as he gets them. Absolutely,
he punishes everybody. My God, he definitely is a hard hitter. He is ready to hit people in the NFL, and at that age, man, he's very young. I hope he goes to a good coach.
One thing that surprised me too is how good his change of direction was for his size.
It was
like
for 6'2". I mean,
yeah, I was surprised. Like he'll go one way and then and follows breaks pretty consistently. As long as they're not doing any extra trickery, I think he does fall for shiftier receivers. But I mean, a lot of these bigger dudes aren't built like that. You're not supposed to. But I was just surprised at how he caught up to some of them in his change of direction.
The little man I did see him in, I was very impressed with. When he has an assignment and it's clear in the game, at least it looks clear to me, he looks really good in coverage. It just seems like when they kind of put him out there to be a playmaker, sometimes kind of like what you see Minka do for the Steelers, he does seem to get lost. And I don't know really how to judge that fairly.
I mean, I guess you can judge it right now. That's what he's coming in as.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
but like you said, you can wave that off as he's still a little raw. You know, you're not that young and that good that quickly. Usually, unless he's a freak, and he is a freak, but not like that.
Like I would do cartwheels if he became a Steeler. and I don't think we even need him, or he's going to be on their boards as far as, because there's plenty of other needs, but I just the athlete is very impressive. And the funny thing is, like, when I put projected position, I just put anywhere. I mean, like, you could play the slot, you could play the box. I think you could be a free. I kind of like you anywhere.
I really prefer him within the first 10 yards.
That's
I
fair.
prefer him as a box, but I think you can put him in certain cover, like certain packages where he's going to be trailing maybe the tight end or something, that as he develops that way.
Yeah, he could do
I think or even like a bandit kind of style, not too much like how the Ravens use Hamilton.
That's who I thought of when I saw him.
Right. I think it'll be like a discount version of that.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I see him as a discount version.
Right. So
otherwise, he'd be number one on my board.
Fair enough.
Like Hamilton was the year he came out.
Fair enough.
I loved Hamilton.
So yeah, I like those like kind of like sub roles. Like he's going to have a role on the team, I think, year one. So and then I think that deserved him to be 4. In being as inexperienced as he was, I thought he was not. His tape wasn't as bad for someone I'd expect for only a couple of years. You know,
I think one of the first plays I saw him do, it was like, I don't know, like 11:30 at night, and he plowed somebody, and I out loud went, "Oh!" and woke up my wife.
There you go.
And I was just like, "Oops, I'm in trouble." But yeah, man, I'm head over heels for this guy. Seriously,
yeah, me too.
I really like him.
He's such a fun watch. I'm excited to see how he develops. That was my 4.
Oh boy,
we did your 4, right? So we're doing your 3.
So we're doing my 2 and your 2.
Okay, so our 3s was Dadrian and Hicks was your 3.
So knowing what I know, that means that Newbin's your number 2.
Exactly, yes.
And that's my number 2 as well.
Okay, wait, I'm so confused on who your 1 is. I'm actually scared who your 1 is, because
my number 1 is Dominique Hampton. Don't you know?
Well, give me a second. They're gonna make me lose my shit. I love Dominic.
I do too. I love him so much, and he didn't make my top 10, and it hurts. But
Newbin.
Yeah, this was a player I remember playing against Penn State, and I'm like, oh, I have to remember this guy. Definitely somebody I circled on the board.
His highlight reel is fun to watch.
It is fun to watch.
He's got some crazy like interceptions.
He broke the record for interceptions at Minnesota. Yeah, he's the interception leader, and that was after he took over after Antoine Winfield, who, my God, when I watched him in college, I loved him.
Monster.
Yeah, absolutely. But Newbin, man, he's got pretty good eyes on the QB. He's just a ball hawk all day.
Is.
He's
Squall!
solid free safety.
Just coming in at the ball, going squall.
But I did see bad angles from him at times, and if you're running in the red zone, he was a liability.
Oh yeah, he's not stopping that.
He's not going to stop the run.
He doesn't have the play strength, I don't think, and he doesn't really show that.
I saw him get run over time and time again in the red zone by running backs.
If it's an open field tackle between the 20s, actually pretty good at it.
Oh, yeah,
I actually like his tackling. His tackling technique was really good, but like you said, the angles were you're watching him whiff on some of those that you're like, oh, here he goes, and it's gone.
And I mean, athletically, he's insane. This is another guy who I thought his athleticism was pretty damn good.
Yeah, he's fluid as hell.
He is. Yeah, the way he moves his hips,
his body,
impressive.
The way his body faces, like especially if he's like it's like at deep or single high or something, and he's shading to one side, his body's perpendicular to the right side, he can quickly flip those hips to go to the left side of the field, and start chasing the ball that way. Now, I don't think he has the range to consistently play single high. I think he can do that every once in a while, and I think he's smart enough. Yeah, I think he can play it because he's smart enough and he gets the mental side of the game enough to put himself in position all the time. But if he finds himself out of position, I don't think he has any kind of recovery ability to get there. But his anticipation mitigates all those issues. His anticipation is insane.
It is, yes. And actually, you know something? He not only had, I think, the lowest missed tackle rate at 9.4%.
Woo!
That's the lowest. He also had the lowest recorded receptions on him at 30%.
Holy shit!
Yeah, that's wow.
How many targets did he have targeting?
I have to go back and look, but
he only got targeted 20 times. I don't know what the average is though. Let's just look at
20 times they consider.
20 times he was targeted.
I feel like I watched him get targeted 20 times in the games I watched. I watched 4 games.
Let me check again. Hold on. Coverage targets 20. I don't know if it's just strictly man, but
I'll tell you this. One thing that really impressed me about him, even though I wouldn't say this one is my flavor of safety, he played pretty well against Marvin Harrison Jr.
Did he? I didn't watch that one.
I was actually pretty impressed. Not that he locked him down or anything. Nobody locked him down. He's the number 1 player in the draft for a reason. I mean, he
just knew how to pay special attentions to his side of the field.
I think Tyler Nubin actually might have been the best player I watched go against Marvin Harrison Jr.
Is this straight up on man? Or is this him over this?
Just stopping him
in
his tracks.
Gotcha.
And this is from a guy who I wasn't insane about his tackling ability. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was elite, but I think I do think I've watched plenty of corners this year, plenty of defensive backs and safeties. I thought he really did play the best against Harrison of anybody I watched.
Damn.
I really was impressed because I thought he was going to get torched by Harrison. I'm like, oh, here's the real test. Let's see what happens. I was like, oh, okay. All right. Well, it's not terrible. I mean, they were doubling him. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, it was impressive for the type of talent that he is. I think he played very well against him.
If you want a guy just a smart safety that's going to ball hawk this shit out of, out of QBs, he's going to be awesome. You're going to want that on your team. If you need a free, I think he'll be making excellent free right off the bat. Look, I think he's going to be a consistent playmaker.
I think he is too. I think he's a starter day one.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to be I don't think he'll be a top end starter.
No.
I think there'll be a lot of growing pains, but I think he'll be very adequate.
He might have
with some splash.
Floor. He's definitely the highest floor free safety.
I agree. That's what I'll give you.
And that's why he's number 2 on my board. I would like to see some more physicality in the run game.
Yeah. I just don't want to see issues in the red zone. You got to stop the run.
You do
when you're in the red zone, and
it happened with probably 3 different running backs that I saw. Once again, Harrison, he looked good against. Travion Henderson at Ohio State, but on the other hand, ran right by him.
Yeah.
So that's concerning, but I do see him as a free. So maybe my expectation isn't as high on you to stop the run, but I do need to see that get better.
Yeah, maybe you maybe pull him out of the field during those times. I don't know. We'll see if he gets better.
Some points.
All right, we already know my one.
Let's get the elephant out of the room.
I don't even know.
I don't know how you don't, but that's okay.
Hold on. Let me guess. I'm gonna guess.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it can't be that one. No, it can't be that one.
I'm gonna get it. I don't know how you don't know. I literally told you who my number 1 was gonna be.
Did you?
I almost knew who it was gonna be from the beginning.
Damani Richardson.
Oh, you were so far away. It's not even funny. In fact,
I'm sorry. You're right. It's Tyler Owens.
No, Damani Richardson was my 3rd worst on the board.
Was it Tyler Owens then?
No, it was Cooper DeJean.
Oh, I'm stupid. I forgot about that.
I'm actually surprised he didn't make your list.
Okay, so
it is kind of unfair because he is listed as quote unquote a corner.
No, since our last conversation, since our last pod talking about corners, and we discussed where he fits, And I said that I think he belongs more on the outside corner with some versatility to switch spots. I think you pulled me towards this direction as a safety. I think as a safety, he's the number one safety on my board as well. So
I don't see him on your board.
He's not gonna. I'm not gonna put him on my board.
Fraud. So I
Leave
have
me
to give him a little bit of shit. He always calls me on my stuff.
No, I mean, I just don't know where he's gonna go.
I don't care.
But if you're putting him at safety, I think he'd be a fantastic safety.
So he reminds me so much of Kyle Hamilton coming out, where I was like, yeah, they call you a free, but I kind of just want to see what somebody's going to do with you, and that's what Cooper DeJean is to me as well. I I kind of like the way the Ravens are using Hamilton as that slot position, and I think DeJean would do that very well.
Yes,
for somebody. He can play anywhere on the secondary. Quite frankly, I think he could play linebacker. Like he's a special teams ace. I think he's very good in coverage. He's fast. He's very smart. He kills it in the run game. Absolutely kills it in the run game. You know, there's just so much I like about this guy. I know he's coming off an injury, but like, you know, you watch him on blitzing from the slot, he looks good.
Yes.
You see him on outside corner, he can do that, and he's good at it. You see him in the backfield playing free safety, and he's locking it down. Like, he can play anywhere on that secondary as far as I'm concerned. I mean, like I said, with this guy and even Brian Branch and Kyle Hamilton, these are all guys, Daxton Hill, these are all guys I've looked at over the years, and I'm like, I don't even know where to put you.
Yeah.
Like, you're so versatile. Wherever you want to go is good with me.
His IQ, his like elite football IQ and playmaking ability is so good that you're putting him on the field wherever, even if he doesn't work out at outside corner or even in the slot. Because like sometimes I feel in the slot, I'd be worried about him getting stuck man to man because I haven't seen him do a lot man to man coverage. He is
quite a bit, but I haven't seen a lot.
It's very limited from what I've seen. A lot of the times he's playing off, and
Agreed.
If it is man, it is very far off man. I hate how far off man he plays.
To be fair, though, Iowa's secondary was lacking a guy like him. I mean, they've lost, I think, 2 or 3 guys in the last few years to the draft who were really good in the backfield, and he just kind of seems like he's the only one now.
Yeah, no, I'm like I said.
So I understand the safe.
If they're
coaching or
if the coaches are telling him that he needs to play a little further off because we just don't want to get beat deep. Totally get it. I'm just saying I don't like it, and I don't think he has the elite change of direction as a lot of other guys in the slot I would want. I think he's a little stiff.
I think that's
in that regard.
I like him more as a safety than I do a corner.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm like. Okay, at safety, if you're putting him at free, is probably the one that you feel safest at. He's just going to be a multi-alignment type of player, though. Like, I don't want him. I'm just saying, if I don't want him strictly in the slot like Kyle Hamilton, because I think Kyle Hamilton is actually really good in man coverage, and I don't see him consistently do that in man.
I think but because it's only going to grow.
Yeah, well, exactly. Not that he can't do it. I'm just saying that's all I've seen.
Yeah,
coming from him, and as a free safety, I think his zone IQ and spacing, understanding of spacing is so good. I think he'd kill it as a free. But honestly, like you said, put him anywhere. He's big. He's going to make an impact no matter where he's at. So wherever spot you need on a defense, put him there. He'll succeed. Yeah, that's why he'll be my number one safety as well.
Yeah, I mean, I look at some of the teams in the draft this year who, like, they could pretty much draft at any position. And like, if he's not the pick for you, I don't know. Like the Broncos or a team like that of that stature, I think is where he should go. There was a team, and I'm trying to, it's bugging me now that I'm thinking about it. There was a team that I was thinking about him going to, and I was like, oh, I hope that's not the pick. I think it was the Jets. Because I was like, didn't they? Because they lost.
Jordan Whitehead.
Yeah, they lost Whitehead this year.
Yeah,
and they're kind of in a really nice spot where they could maybe trade back a few picks and then grab him. And I don't think that's an unreasonable thing to say. Like, we've seen guys of his talent. Like, Branch was a second-round pick, which you remember how disgusted I was. I was disgusted that he was a second-round pick because he was just the versatility. That type of player is so rare. And Hamilton, to me, was the number one player his year. I mean, that type of talent, I think, is rare. I think Cooper has it. I think I liked Hamilton more than I like him because I think I've seen Hamilton in more coverage than I've seen Cooper. I will say this though, a lot of people want to talk about Cooper DeJean as a punt returner, that he's, great punt returner. I don't even know why we're talking about it. He's a first round pick. He ain't punt returning. He ain't punt returning for me. I'll tell you that.
But you're gonna have him gun, right? Because he looked good as a gunner.
I would like him as a gunner. I do like that. But I don't even think I want him doing that.
Yeah, I don't want him getting hurt.
I want him to be on the field. That's what I want. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, there is a lot of projects in this class. I think me and the Otter both agree that there's a sweetheart on both of our boards at safety. I'm going to let him talk about him, though, because
you're such a sweetheart.
He reminds me so much of a player that played for his team. We're picking two players that didn't meet our top 10 that we love.
Yeah, two players. We'll just keep it quick because we obviously could talk forever. Yes. So we'll just do it quick and just, yeah. Right. One good, one bad. But my boy is Dominique Hampton. Oh God.
I love him.
His initial tape really showed Cam Chancellor-esque like mentality and skill set right off the bat. Now, less so as the tape went on.
Agreed.
Because he does have some situational awareness issues that, I think he could develop.
I think his football IQ was a little poor.
Right.
I agree.
And for his size, I didn't really like his tackling. But he has great instincts. He plays like a freaking hyena. Like, he just wants to destroy things. And that's why I love him. He's just a big box, I think, that has some experience in different alignments. And
he's punished people.
Right.
I mean, 70 tackles this year, man. Wow. That was, I mean, he's made some strips that were pretty impressive. I think he had a few interceptions. I mean, just absolutely fantastic. I mean, high ceiling, very low floor.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to talk about my guy here quick. And man, I like this guy a lot. And it's Trey Taylor out of Air Force.
I should have known you're going to do that one.
Of course he was going to be that guy. Man, Jim Thorpe Award winner. This kid's Ed Reed's nephew. And man, he plays with a chip on his shoulder, man.
He really does.
Another strong safety. I would have liked to see him on another team that was not Air Force because, man, when he played for Air Force, it's like it was him and a bunch of nobodies. I mean, he was killing it.
I mean, he looked like the best player on the field.
Absolutely. There wasn't a game I watched that I didn't think that.
Yeah, I think he's a great mentality for the game and
he's
in zone.
He's a really hard hitter.
Yep.
He's got good drive. He's got the right mentality to want to go to the next level. His IQ was lacking. And I think it's because of the system he's in. I get it. But man, I would love to draft this guy.
The way he plays, it's kind of like he's like a mini linebacker sometimes. Like I just love watching it.
And he's gonna go 100% the entire play. I never see him jog.
Yep.
He is full on or full off. His coverage was decent, but like I said, his play recognition was not good. Definitely was not.
All right, I'll give you my second guy real quick.
Oh.
James Williams. Big boy. He's just got massive size. And he loves coming downhill, just rocking players right off their feet. I think he's got a really high ceiling. And I think he's probably his change of direction will surprise you, given his size. I think his testing numbers came out really well. But I think he plays strictly downhill. And
he's very raw.
He's very raw. And he still, despite his size and him being a force in run defense, he still had a 15% missed tackle rate. So I couldn't put him that much higher.
So it's funny, when we talked about going back to linebackers later, the linebacker that I was telling you from Miami that we needed to go back to was actually this guy.
Oh, really?
They're actually labeling him as a linebacker in a lot.
I totally get. I think I have him in his notes as a potential linebacker hybrid. So I think he's 6'5", I think.
He's massive. I know that. It was because when I saw the size, I was like, wow, okay, he's a big dude.
6'5", yeah. 6'5", 215. So massive human.
And man, when he does hit somebody, he pounds them.
Yeah.
But he also misses a lot of tackles.
All right, give me one more guy.
For my second guy, I'm going to go with Jalen Simpson out of Auburn. I didn't think I was going to talk about anybody from Auburn because most of them were garbage, in my opinion. But, this guy, he's got that ball hawk ability. Only problem is it was inconsistent. I mean, he's coming in at 178. Kind of reminds me of, what's his face out of Washington last year? The corner.
Oh, Forbes.
Yeah, he's kind of got that Forbes mentality to him. I really like that, but he lacks in the tackle stats. I think he only had like 20 tackles. He definitely needs to bulk up and work on this physicality. But I thought his hand, the way he uses his hands in coverage to break the ball off, was very good. I mean, I really liked what I saw out of him. I definitely think he's a project. Only a free safety.
Yeah.
Only a free safety.
I have him as a free safety that is best just coming forward.
Yeah.
Like, his change of direction wasn't that good, and him going backwards seemed pretty awkward at times.
Yeah, and he's not stopping the run game.
But when he sees it, he's got the burst to get to the spot he needs to go, and I think he has the recognition on a lot of those to anticipate those throws. And
he really does have long arms. I mean, he really could extend himself at times when needed.
Yeah, he was a fun watch.
But yeah, well, that's our safeties. Like I said, I really like this group a lot more than I thought I was going to. But most of our group is a third to fourth round pick.
Yeah, a lot of guys with similar skill sets. They're kind of put into two different camps. Maybe a couple specialty players here and there. If you want a value box safety in the back, tons of them.
Yeah, if you want a box safety, this is it.
Not a lot of ball hawking guys, but there's a lot of potential in this draft.
It does make me think somebody like Newman's going to go earlier.
It might,
because of what we're dealing with. But yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yep. Appreciate you guys listening.
Yeah.
Let us know what you guys think. Tell us what you think. Leave a comment.
Yeah, leave some comments. We want to know if we're bad, if we're good, if I sound like a man or a 12-year-old boy. Like we just want to know what's going on.
And then try to guess if he looks like a man or a 12-year-old boy.
Maybe I'm neither. Maybe I'm neither.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.